I also heard that it's Bear Week. I kind of like bears.
I do too.
That might be my type.
What's a bear?
B-E-A-R, B-A-R-E.
B-E-A-R.
A fuzzy gay man with a lot of hair and muscle.
Exactly.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Season 13, Episode 15. And before we get into it, I just want to know, is it just me or does it feel like this was the shortest vacation that a cast has been on? Compared to Potomac this season, where it seems like they were in Austin, Texas for 5 episodes straight, I feel like this trip to Barcelona with Beverly Hills went by like that. Because when they said, oh, it's their last night, I was like, they just got there 2 episodes ago. And it also feels like they didn't do that much on this trip. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe because there wasn't so much drama, it feels like nothing happened. But I feel like it was a short trip and we didn't see a whole lot. But with all that being said, y'all, let's just jump right on into it because you guys already know that we don't have a minute to spare. So we open up the episode right where we left off with Sutton crying. She no longer wants to spread Merce's ashes into the ocean because she feels like she's letting go of Merce, her father, and her marriage. So you have Kyle comforting her. She says it's okay to cry. She understands. And like I said in my last recap, it was actually nice to see that Kyle does have a heart and could actually comfort Sutton for once and not center herself. Because I have always said Kyle is very self-centered, very self-absorbed, and she is not a good friend to Sutton. Sutton sharing that she was so angry about her divorce. I get the impression that there was a lot of craziness in Sutton's marriage that she's still traumatized about. And the way that he divorced her was so wrong. Because remember, in earlier seasons, Sutton revealed that he had given her divorce papers on her birthday. It just feels like her ex-husband was cruel and very sadistic. And I also get the impression that there was just a lot more that happened that she's not ready to talk about with anybody. And the way his face is always blurred out every time we see a picture of them together when they were married, it just says a lot. But it's clear that Sutton's marriage was a hot mess. But at least she walked away with a lot of money. Because getting $3.6 million a year in alimony, she got a baseball team, other businesses, child support. So she did get paid for her pain. But anyhow, we see all the ladies waiting on Sutton. And now we see Trevor arrive to the house and he goes to Sutton's room. And it was so funny because Sutton was trying to transfer Merce's ashes into this box. And she like spilled some of the ashes. I was like, Sutton, you're better off leaving Merce in the Ziploc bag. So they're in the Sprinter van on their way to throw Merce's ashes into the ocean. And as they're going through town, Trevor is showing them all the cool gay bars in the area. So he brings up how there's one club in town where it's a cave and people swim up to hook up with people. And then Sutton brings up how she heard that it was Bear Week. So she says that she likes bears. And then Trevor says, oh girl, I do too. So they all laugh. And now Garcelle goes on to ask, what's a bear? And so Erika jumps in saying, oh yeah, you have bears and slim bears and cubs. And I was like, girl, why can't you let Trevor answer that? I find Erika's need to always dominate the conversation to be very aggravating. Maybe I'm just picking on Erika because she annoyed me later on in this episode, still harping on the fact that nobody's apologized to her. So maybe that's why it seems like everything that she's doing is annoying me because I'm getting really tired of her. She is wearing me thin with this. Girl, nobody cares about you and these earrings. It's all about the victims and what they lost. But again, we'll talk more about that later on. So now Garcelle shares that a few years ago, she had Andy Cohen on her podcast and she asked him if he was a top or a bottom. And Andy said that he was a powerful top. So now Garcelle shares that her friend said that he's a blouse. So they were like, what's a blouse? And he was like, a feminine top. Now, that's how I know that Andy Cohen likes Garcelle a lot. because the fact that he agreed to go on her podcast, because mind you, a lot of these women have podcasts and YouTube channels, and Andy will not go on them. So if he goes on your channel, that means a lot. So I said, go ahead, Garcelle. We're going to see Garcelle on this show for quite some time. But again, Garcelle, if we're going to see you for another 5 or 6 seasons, mama, the glam has got to level up. Because that new confessional look with that orange dress, that does nothing for your shape. It's not flattering in the least bit. And Garcelle, you are too beautiful. You have too much money. You have too much fame to be looking like this. Garcelle should be running circles around everybody, if I'm being honest. Now, when they arrive to the destination, they have to walk about maybe like 15, 20 minutes to the water. So as they're walking, they pass by all these markets and all these street vendors, and we know that Kyle loves to shop. So she is fighting the urge not to stop and buy something. Sutton says, girl, we don't have time for that. We need to get to where we need to go because I need to scatter Merce's ashes into the water. So let's come on. Kyle was not here for it. She was like, oh, I'm not feeling well. I'm going to have to stop here for a minute. You guys go on without me. I need to shop. And I said, Kyle, I understand that you want to shop. I get it. I have to fight the urge too, girl, anytime I pass by a store. But right now, we're not here to shop. We are here to celebrate the life of Sutton's friend and mentor, and we're here to support her right now. It's not about you trying to buy something else. And I said, but in all seriousness though, be happy that you guys just passed by markets and street vendors, because had you guys passed by an Hermes or a Chanel store, it would have been over. So now the ladies finally get to these steps where they're overlooking the ocean, and that's where Sutton is going to release the ashes. So Sutton gives a quick speech and she says, thank you all for putting up with me. I haven't been the easiest to deal with. She says that today she's not just letting Merce go, but she's also letting her dad go as well. And she's also releasing the pain of her marriage. So Sutton is clearly emotional, and she says that everybody in this group has stuff that they're holding on to. And now we see Kyle go up and give Sutton a hug. And now we jump to Garcelle in her confessional, and she shares that it's obvious that Sutton has been holding on to a lot of pain regarding her ex-husband Christian, and how she's happy to see Sutton finally let this go because she can also relate. And we all know the story of how it went down when Garcelle caught her ex-husband cheating and she blasted him to everybody. And I have to say, that's low-key iconic because that's something that I would do. I would blast you to everybody and then I'm out. Because y'all know me. If you cheat, it is shout out to everybody, I have fun.
Oh! Shout out to everybody, I have fun. I gotta be good.
Because I'll be damned. There are too many men out here for me to stick with a cheater. Okay? I can't do it. God bless women who can overlook cheating. That's great. But I can't. No. Sorry. I know a few of y'all get mad at me like, oh my gosh, you're promoting divorce and everybody doesn't care about that. And that's great for you. But for me and my house, I'm not sticking around with a cheater. Now, I don't know if it's really windy in Barcelona, because when Sutton brought those ashes out the box to throw them into the ocean, the ashes blow back on Sutton, Garcelle, Kyle, Dorit, Erika. I think it got into Garcelle's mouth. Everybody was pissed. They were like, really? I don't need to taste your friend. I don't need Merce in my mouth. I honestly would have been screaming, because if those ashes had blown back on me, I would have said, everybody, let's cut the cameras. Take me back to the villa. I need to get in that shower. I need to be scrubbed down. So now Sutton wants everybody to throw their flowers into the ocean and also tell the group what they're releasing. So Garcelle goes up first. She throws her flowers into the ocean and she says that she's releasing the feeling of being lonely. So Garcelle starts crying and she brings up how she has abandonment issues because her dad wasn't there. He left her when she was 3 and then came back into her life when she was 14. And she goes on to say between her daddy issues and then her ex-husband betraying her, it's why she's so protective of her heart now. So now Crystal goes up and Crystal says that she wants to leave behind the issues with her brother. Now, I'm not trying to be funny, but I am so confused about this whole storyline with her brother being upset with her. I think he blames her and her mom for why his fiance and him broke up. Is that what it is? Again, I feel like Crystal's storyline this season has been quite boring and non-existent. And every time she's had a scene with her brother, I've not paid attention. I've zoned out. So when she brought this up, I said, okay, I guess. But she says that she wants to release that. Her brother is moving away to Thailand, and she thinks that it's going to be good for him to be away from her and her mom. But I will say, shout out to Crystal and Crystal's brother. I met Crystal at BravoCon. You guys know that. She's very sweet, very pretty, very kind, down to earth. And shout out to her brother, because he's cute too. And hearing the news about him when I was at Kempire's live show, shout out to that subscriber who spilled the tea about him. And that's all I'll say about that. But yeah, if he ever comes back to the States, come to New York. Let me stop it. So now it's Anne-Marie's turn. Anne-Marie says that she knows that she comes across as strong, but she just wants to be at peace and she wants to be happy. Now, on the after show, I saw Anne-Marie give more context as to what she meant by that. We find out in the after show, she explains that she was adopted and how it was a closed adoption, how her birth mother did not want to find her, didn't want Anne-Marie to ever find her either, and she has issues because of that. So she tells a story about how she reached out to her birth mother's sister on Facebook, and her birth mother's sister blocked her. And because of that, she has abandonment issues that she's still sorting through. Now, Anne-Marie, I wish you had shared more of this on the show versus going after Sutton's esophagus and going after Crystal. I think that Anne-Marie sharing that part of herself on the after show, it was endearing, it was touching, and she was actually likable. I feel like these women get themselves into trouble because they're trying to produce themselves. They're trying to put on a front, put on this persona, and it turns the viewers off. Just be yourself. Stop worrying about what is social media going to think about you. Stop trying to be cool. Stop trying to be who you think we want to see. Just be yourself. Again, Anne-Marie, had you just come on being your true self and giving us your real life and your real story, I think we would have liked you. Dorit goes up saying that she wants to release her PTSD. You were better off saying, I want to release my ignorance and my microaggressions. That's something that you need to free yourself from, if we're being completely honest. The way Erika pissed me off, she goes up there and she says, I want to release the pain and the hurt that you guys have caused me throughout these last 2 years. The way they all stood there like, girl, what? I said, Erika, the way I would have stopped you mid-sentence and cursed you out. Because how dare you blame us for the pain that we've caused you? We didn't cause you any pain. That was your ex-husband. It's so weird to me. I feel like Erika has more anger towards these ladies than she does for Tom. I just don't get it. How did they cause you pain? You cursed them out every time they had a question for you. And they questioned you rightfully so, because they wanted to understand, do you have compassion for the victims, yes or no? Because she was too worried about herself and her lifestyle. So I said, again, girl, how are you saying that they caused you hurt and pain? I was too done. I said, okay, girl. Erika is the prime example of somebody who doesn't want friends. She wants fans. She wants people who will kiss up to her and tell her that whatever she does is great and she can never hear any critiques. She never wants to hear any honest feedback. If it's not what she wants to hear, then you're her enemy. So Kyle goes up there and she's crying. She says that she wants to let go of the pain of thinking that she could have saved her friend Lorene and how things could have been different between her and Kathy and this group. And then she shares in her confessional that it is hard not telling the group that she is going through issues in her marriage. Honestly, Kyle, the way you were crying, I think that the group knew that you were also crying about your marital issues. They're not dumb. Just because you didn't say that, they could obviously pick up on the fact that that's also a factor into why you've been so upset and so on edge. And a quick question, how many episodes do we have left? Do we have 2 or 3? Because I am eagerly awaiting this reunion. I cannot wait to hear Kyle tell us the full story about what has gone on between her and Mauricio and Morgan Wade. I want to hear all of it. So they share a group hug, and now they all split up and do some shopping. So we see Erika and Crystal walking, and Crystal says, Erika, I just want to say, if I caused you any pain, I'm so sorry. So Erika's like, it's okay, sweetie. Stuff happens. I understand. And then she says that she's really touched that Crystal is the only one to acknowledge that she caused her pain and that it takes real balls to admit when you're wrong. And I said, now, Erika, you have yet to apologize for your actions, but yet you expect so much from this group. And Crystal, why are you apologizing? You didn't do anything. If anything, Erika needs to apologize to you. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't she curse you, Sutton, and Garcelle out last season when you guys had questions about those earrings? Baby, there would be no I'm sorry. It would be, Erika, I'm not apologizing to you for a damn thing. I didn't do anything to you. Take that up with God and take that up with Tom Girardi. But you're not getting an apology over here. I wish I would. I was so angry. I said, okay, girl. And not the same woman who cursed out Garcelle's son last season. Absolutely not. So now they're back at the villa getting ready for their flamenco dinner. And we see Erika with her glam squad. And of course, she's still going on about how hurt she feels that the group has not apologized to her. And I just said, I think that Erika is delusional to think that she's owed an apology. You were calling Sutton and Garcelle and Crystal all sorts of see you next Tuesdays every chance you got. So I'm just so sorry, my dear, but you're not getting an apology over here. And it's so funny because she would not stop talking about it. And then she said, you know what? Life goes on. It is what it is. I'm moving on. Clearly, you're still bothered by it because you've been talking about it these last 3 days on the trip about how you feel hurt by the group. So everybody's ready for dinner. And I thought it was cute because since they're also doing flamenco dancing, they're all dressed in red. Except for Kyle. Kyle has on this orange dress, but I thought it was close enough. So as they're in the Sprinter van on their way to dinner, you have, I think, Anne-Marie asking them what are their plans after the trip. So Erika says she plans on catching up on sleep and also having hot sex. Now, did you guys hear that rumor going around a few months ago saying that Erika was seeing Garcelle's oldest son, Oliver? I was like, what? But I am curious to find out who Erika is seeing because she said recently on a podcast that her new man is 12 years younger than her and so I said, okay. I know Erika has to be so happy to be free from that old man that she was not attracted to. She's trying to make up for lost time. So now the topic of would they get remarried again comes up. And Garcelle says, honestly, at this point, I don't need to get remarried. I don't need to have the paperwork, but I would like to have a longtime partner. And Garcelle goes on to say that she's trying to make sure that she leaves a nice amount for her kids and not for a man to come and get any of it. And I said, I know that's right. But Garcelle, this time around, make sure that your next man has more money than you. Okay? Make sure that he's rich and leaves you with something. So now Garcelle brings up a great point and she's like, do any of us ever know what we're really signing? And now Anne-Marie makes a joke saying that when her husband wants her to sign something, she goes on to ask their business manager first. So Kyle says, look, Mauricio pays all the bills. He's in charge of all that. I just spend the money. But if he says sign this, I just sign it. And I hope for the best. So Erika's like, Kyle, no, that's not good. That's how I got in trouble. Like, it's good to trust your man until you can't trust him. Now, I said, Kyle, I love that for you, but you should make it a habit to double check because you just don't know. And seeing what happened to Erika and Teresa Giudice from Jersey, because that's how Teresa went to jail. She signed some papers that Joe had given her, and it turned out it was a hot, raggedy mess. It was a scheme that Todd set up. And that got her sent to jail for, what, a year or 15 months? But yeah, I think that they're giving sound advice when they say, make sure to double check before you sign anything. But Kyle goes on to make a joke saying that she's pretty much signing her life away. And I said, Kyle, again, if I were you, I would just double check because you really don't know. That's not anything to play with. Also, with reports about Mauricio and these lawsuits, I would just be a bit weary about just signing things and not double checking what these forms say. It doesn't hurt to be safe. Sutton had me screaming. She said, oh no, I don't care if you're married to the Pope. You double check before you sign off on anything. Now, in Sutton's case, when she was signing away in her marriage, it turned out in her favor. Because she found out going through her divorce that she had owned several businesses. She owned 2 baseball teams. So she was actually signing off to some good stuff.
Bling, bling, bling. Bitches is mad.
But Sutton's case is the exception and not the rule. But everybody else, you need to double check before just signing off, even though that's your husband. So they arrive in town, and Manolo, their tour guide from the other day, greets them. He's playing the guitar, and now he's taking them to the restaurant where they're going to have dinner and do their flamenco dance in front of other people. So they're all nervous. Kyle's like, I don't even drink anymore. I don't know how I'm going to get up there and dance. And I said, girl, you're on vacation. It's fun. Just go with it. You'll be okay. If you can be on stage in front of thousands of people at BravoCon, you can surely dance for the 80 people in this restaurant. I thought it was really cute because they met the owner of the restaurant before they went in there. So she gives them flowers for their hair, for their performance later on. And now Manolo gives a champagne toast. The way he checked Dorit, I was here for it. Because Dorit tried to give this toast, and Manolo said, oh no, I'm the one giving the toast, not you. I said, whack her again, please, because Dorit tried it.
I'm just scoot on over and let you whack him. Get him again. Get him for me.
So now they're in the restaurant, they sit down, order their drinks, order their food. And now Anne-Marie starts asking everybody what was their favorite part of the trip. So Crystal says that her favorite part of the trip was watching the chefs make the seafood paella the other night. Kyle says that her favorite part of the trip was earlier today when they went out to the water to release their hurt and pain and seeing Sutton release the ashes. She goes on to say that it was a good moment for everybody. So now Erika jumps in, and I already knew that Erika was going to be on some BS. She low-key brings the mood down by saying that this trip was better than last year's trip. Kyle says, where do we go again? And Erika's like, girl, you don't remember? We went to Aspen where all that stuff went down. I tried to block it out of my memory. I said, Erika, if you tried to block it out of your memory, then why bring it back up? You purposely want to do that because you're still angry that you feel like they've wronged you in some way. So now you want to bring the whole mood down. This is what, your 3rd or 4th time bringing up how you feel hurt and betrayed by the group? So now Anne-Marie cuts in and she says, Erika, I have to ask you, what did you mean by what you said earlier about you feeling like the group has hurt you and caused you pain. So Erika says, well, last year I felt mischaracterized and I felt very judged, and that really hurt me. So now Garcelle brings up what Erika said a few months ago about how Erika doesn't trust anybody in this group. So Garcelle wants to know if she still feels that way. So now Erika says, well, I feel more relaxed. And I said, honestly and truthfully, Garcelle, I would not be asking Erika anything. I would not care. I would have continued to eat my food and ignore Erika. If she wants to pout like a child, then so be it. But I damn sure would not be egging her on, asking her, oh, how do you feel? Are you still hurt by us? I'm not doing that. You guys did not do anything wrong. You asked her questions that a friend would ask. Do you plan on giving the earrings back? Do you feel bad for the victims? Did you know anything? Let's be really honest. If your loved one, if your good friend, if somebody that you knew and were super close to was wrapped up in this sort of case, you would have questions for them. So them questioning her, it was nothing that was out of the ordinary because anybody would have. Nobody accused her of anything. Nobody was rude to her. They all had questions and concerns. That's it. That's all. And I'm really confused as to how Erika has all this hate when Sutton was the only one in this group who offered her money if she needed it. Sutton said, I offered Erika some money to help her get by. She turned my offer down, but I let her know that if she did need some money, I had her back. I was there for her. If anything, that sounds like a good friend to me. So I don't know why you're just so angry and so mad at folks who actually cared about you and were trying to help you out. Sutton had me screaming. She said, well, anyways, she was like, I don't care. I don't want to hear about it. Let's move on. So now Sutton says, let's all toast to Erika and her Vegas residency that she only invited some of us to. So we find out that Erika had all these grand invitations for some of the women, but did not invite Sutton. So I said, now Sutton, I want to ask you, is this a self-esteem issue? Because why are you toasting to somebody who did not invite you to her residency? Let somebody else do that. Let Kyle or Dorit do that. If anything, I would toast to the trip that I planned. I would not be toasting to somebody who intentionally left me out. I get the impression that Sutton wants to be part of the cool girls so bad. She wants to feel like she's in the in crowd because I don't understand this obsession with wanting to be around women who don't see it for you. Kyle and Erika. Those are two women who have given her the hardest time in this group. And yet she still gives them chance after chance after chance, and I do not understand it. It gives very much pick-me behavior. And now we see them all go on stage and they're flamenco dancing. They all looked cute up there. They had their red dresses on. I thought it was a nice way to end the trip. But also it just felt like not a whole lot happened. But now we see the ladies are back in Beverly Hills, and we end this episode with Kyle at home, and Dorit comes over and they start talking about Kyle's marriage. And Dorit says that she wants Kyle to know that she's there for her because she can sense that one of her best friends is more disconnected than ever. Now, is it just me, or does anybody else think it's strange that on the after show, Kyle is not sitting with Dorit this time? She's sitting with Erika, and it's Dorit and Crystal together. I think it's very telling, and it shows that Kyle, I guess, is still feeling a bit distant from Dorit. So Kyle says that she's been seeing a therapist, and now Mauricio has joined in on those sessions. And Dorit's like, oh, well, how's that going? So Kyle says, honestly, I don't know. Me and Mauricio don't fight, and it's hard for him to communicate his feelings. Then she goes on to say that she's more fiery. Mauricio's more passive, where he'll just let things go. He won't say anything, and that's not always good. So now Kyle brings up how the constant traveling is also taking its toll on them, And she feels like Mauricio thinks that him being away will give Kyle time to get over it. But she's like, no, I need you here. I need your help. Like, let's work on this. We need help. Like, our marriage is suffering. So now Kyle brings up another point about how she notices that Mauricio puts all of his energy into the agency. And she wishes that he would put that same amount of energy into helping out with their marriage. She says, look, I supported him through everything. I was there when he had nothing. And I need to feel like I'm the priority. Now, again, I don't have too much to say about this. It's clear that Mauricio and Kyle are having real life issues. This is not for a storyline. This is real. You can't fake this kind of stuff. I just feel like between the rift with her sister, they're on the brink of being empty nesters. Kyle has found her voice now. The lifestyle changes, no more drinking. She's in the gym all the time now. Her best friend taking her life. I think that with all that going on, Kyle is looking at her life with a new lens, and she's realizing that she needs more. And she wants Mauricio to change with her, and he still wants to be the same. Where we go out all the time, we're schmoozing with, the Hollywood elite and the who's who, and we're out and about drinking, having fun, going here, going there. And Kyle wants to have a more settled and stable life. She's not into all that anymore. It doesn't excite her like it used to. And I think that they're growing in two separate directions. And if Mauricio doesn't want to get on board, they're not going to make it. I think that Kyle finding her voice is a big reason why they're both struggling right now, because she feels like, no, you're going to hear me. I'm not putting up with this like I used to. And I think that that's the main reason why she feels like, you know what, I'm done. I really won't be surprised if we find out at this reunion that they are filing for divorce, because you can hear it in Kyle's voice that she is fed up and she already has one foot out the door, because she ended this episode saying, if things don't change, we are not going to survive. But even though Kyle does wear me thin, I do feel sorry for her, because I thought that her and Mauricio would stand the test of time. I did like them together. So it is sad that they really might be getting a divorce. But y'all, that was the episode. That was my recap. Again, it was a cute episode. Not a whole lot happened. But I am eagerly awaiting this reunion because I want to hear all the tea. But again, thank y'all so much for watching. And you already know what to do. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all later. Bye.